Hey guys, welcome back to Kuma Reviews. We've got one that I'm really late to the game on. I think I'm like a year, maybe even towards 2 years out on this figure, but I finally got it. It's Mastermind Creations' IF-01 Eris Kultur. So IF, Infinite Finity series. This is the first out of this series. The only other thing that's been kind of announced or showed, well, there's been two things. A recolor of Eris Kultur. It's the alternative version, which is upcoming September of this year, I believe, 2022. Maybe even later. And then, I don't remember what the name of it. It's Eris something. But it's their take, kind of a retool of this, into a female Armada Megatron, so that looks really cool too. But so far, it looks like this is a toy line where they'll be doing original designs. I doubt that they'll be all Eris, but yeah. So far, this is what's out. This is their take on a female version of Kultur or Tarn, and it's really darn cool. So just to give you a quick measurement, because this is something that threw me off, and it actually sold me on finding and buying the original version of this. She is actually 7 3/4 inches tall to the head. Backpacks, just under 9 inches. I thought that this was a much smaller figure. I thought that it was like a deluxe, maybe small Voyager or something like that. But this is pretty much, I mean, it's an original figure, original character, whatever, so it'll scale with whatever you want it to scale with. It's just, do you want it to be tall, do you want it to be short? But on my end, I look at it more as a masterpiece scale figure than like classics or something like that, which is really cool. And I don't see a lot of big fembots, you know? But in terms of what comes in the box, like Tarn, she has a blaster that attaches to her forearm, as well as a Decepticon-style mask. So before we get into the figure here, we'll look at the mask first. Brighten this up a bit. Oh, wrong button. All right. So she has a nice stoic face. And the reason that I went for the original version versus the alternative, paid a couple of dollars more than retail, I think like, I paid what, $160 for this, so not too far over retail. It was like $130, $140 shipped, I believe. But this one actually has a stoic face, where the upcoming, I guess I don't want to call it re-release, alternative version has a smirk, and I do not like standard faces that are anything but stoic. So smiling, smirking, you know, even if it's like an angry rage face, no. Default face needs to be stoic. And whatever extra is extra, but yes, so I vastly prefer this. So you see the face, and this pegs in, and boom. Okay, so nice clear shot of that. Now as for what else comes in the box, trading card. What was really neat is that there's kind of like an art or concept book. Really neat. There are some design changes here that I noticed, like there are spikes on the knees in some of them. Instead of the double blaster, they have like a single blaster. Some of this stuff looks really neat in here, and I wish they would have kept, or maybe a future version will have, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah. Alright. Trading card. Instructions, and it comes with this little red thing, and I was like, what is this? And I haven't seen this since I was a child, but it actually has tech information on the box that you could slide the red piece over. So that's really old school, cutout panel and stuff like that if you want to do that. I doubt most people will, but yeah. Alright, focusing back on the figure here. A little bit darker. Alright, you got some roundabout. Oh! And we'll go over that when it comes to the articulation and stuff like that. She is a well-balanced figure, but it's kind of funny the way she works. Alright? And there she be. All right, and when I was talking about her in scale, here she is next to Takara MP36 Optimus, as well as Magic Square's MS-01 Light of Freedom, which I just reviewed. So their heights are just around 10 inches tall apiece. No, actually 9.25. So I don't know where I got 10 inches from, but okay. Yeah. Well, now I'm not sure. Sorry, my viewpoint is skewed. I'm seeing 10 inches on Optimus, but then I put it over by Megatron, and I'm like, what? So sorry for the sidebar in here. Alright, between 9.5 and 10 inches for either of them. But there you go. And like I said, that's where she scales most appropriately to me, but put it wherever you want. Okay. Looking over the articulation here, there is a little bit of a pivot there just because of the transformation. You know what? I don't like the mask as much as the default face. I was going to take it off anyway, so maybe that's just a sign. Head. Yep, it is on a ball joint. I just had to look and make sure. Has some side-to-side movement even and stuff like that. Upward. Lots of upward. Downward. Alright, that hinge there. Now the shoulders are different. They're on like a double hinge piece, so it can still do all of the shoulder stuff, but it's just a different. Alright. So boom. And this is all connected, so there's no separate shoulder pad that moves up and out of the way. It's just all one piece, alright? Bicep swivel is actually at the elbow. Single jointed. It does have rocking wrist. Or, yeah. And then they do rotate as well. Make sure I'm in focus there still. Now zooming in quick. Each of the fingers is articulated while I'm popping them off. That's actually my bad. They don't normally pop off by default like that, but I believe it's 3 separate pieces of articulation in between each finger. Or in between each like knuckle for each finger. And they actually have spread there too. And just in case this happens to you, I just want to do it on camera. It pops right back on. So, alright, no harm, no foul. And thumb on a ball joint, as well as having rockers. It's one of the more articulated hands I've seen, period, in all of my years of collecting anything, to be honest with you. It almost feels over-articulated, which isn't a bad thing. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Alright, now looking at the waist, it does have side rock. Okay. Back bend. 2 layers. Lots of ab crunch. So really cool stuff right there, okay? Alright, sideways, just because of how the thigh's shaped, not a lot of sideways, but forward. And I didn't even put it all the way forward, but backwards. Okay. Actually, let's zoom out a little bit more. Alright, backwards. Kick that forward more. Yeah. Okay. Double joint. And then in terms of the foot, forward, the heel touches the ankle. Forward and backwards. Then right there. In and out. Now, because of the transformation, there's this weird kind of joint right there, which can be a little bit frustrating at times because you're just trying to move the ankle and then that moves, but make sure that the calf is, straight. And I didn't go over thigh swivel. Alright, lots of thigh swivel too. So overall, nice looking, as well as extremely articulated. Now, I said I was going to go over balance issues. I don't really feel that she has balance issues per se, but there's just not a lot of heel in the back. whereas the front of her foot is very long. And then she has the backpack and stuff, which isn't heavy, but it's one of those figures to where when you're posing her, definitely make sure you're rotating those heels down, especially because they're separate, that they're touching the ground or whatever, so she doesn't tip over. And at times, just personally, it can be kind of annoying to have to, baby and monitor just little individual things when all you want to do is like get it into kind of a static pose and this and that. And with this figure, between like those and then that calf joint or whatever that I just showed you, I wouldn't say it's a pain, but it's definitely, I don't know. It's not one of those ones you just pick up and quick pose and boom. There are some pieces you have to watch over to make sure she stays in place, because you definitely don't want anything toppling over. All right. And then this just pegs in. All right, quick look at the tank mode. I will say the transformation is different. Definitely not difficult or anything like that, and the instructions are pretty good, but there are just a lot of moving pieces towards it. I'd say it's probably like a 3 to 5 minute transformation tops. Really simple, but at the same time, there's just a lot going on with it. I've seen some people say that she mass shifts and stuff like that. I don't really think so. I think it's just more so she splits in half. She kind of L's at the waist, backwards, and then her legs flip over. So it's not like when you see those things to where there are a bunch of moving pieces and all of a sudden the toy shrinks or gets bigger and things like that. No, she just kind of folds over herself or whatever. So I don't really count that, even though it's a much smaller tank than it is a bot. I don't think of it like that, but it's really neat. The plastic rolling treads, really cool. Not gonna lie. And everything just tabs into place so nicely. It's beautiful. It's like one of those things to where you're transforming it and you don't think it's gonna work, but once you get everything tabbed in place, it just fits so perfectly. So went over the rolling treads. There is movement because the pivot is the waist. And then it does have some up and down from the ab crunch, which is cool, but yeah, I like the alt mode quite a bit. I was posting on TFW, and I'm starting to think that I have a bias towards tank alt modes. I really like them, and I'm noticing that there are very few, if any, tank bots from like Warpath to Armada Megatron to, I don't remember what the other tank Megatron is. You guys can help me out. It's from the IDW comics. But there's another tank Megatron that I'm thinking of that I cannot... Hold on one second. Whatever this one's based off of. You guys are the knowledgeable ones. School me. So... But just pretty much all Transformers that are tanks, I really like them. And I think I'm going to start going out of my way to collect them. But yeah, anyway. Eris Kultur, really nice alt mode. Pretty, A lot of people don't like Cybertronian style alt modes and stuff like that. I do have a bias towards it. And I think this in particular knocks it out of the park. It manages just to have that Cybertronian style to it, but not look jumbled together. Alright, so closing this out again, it's been Mastermind Creations' IF-01 Infinite Finity series, Eris Kultur, female version of Tarn. It's just really cool, man. Some of the articulation points, like the ankles and the, that like thigh joint thing used for transformation are kind of wonky. I wish that the inner thighs weren't hollow and things like that, and the thighs just kind of worked a little bit differently in general in terms of articulation. But it is a very articulated figure. It's just kind of like a Rebel Tech in the sense that it has its own a very distinct engineering style to it, so you kind of have to play with it, master how it works, and then it can pretty much do whatever you want. I wish it was more traditional, but I mean, it works, you know, and you have to factor in transformation and things like that too. It's got a beautiful bot mode, a really cool alt mode as well, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough actually. So, one of my favorite Mastermind Creations figures by far, and for me, I think that's pretty high praise because in general, I think they tend to make solid stuff. It's not always the most aesthetically appealing to me, but their quality, engineering, and things like that are freaking killer. But anyway, check out the review for this, or I guess written review, and gallery on the new kumastyle.com. No more Kuma style designs or anything like that. Finally got my domain squared off, so launching that new site today. Like, share, subscribe, click that bell notification so you actually see when I upload new stuff, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be well, be safe, see you next time.